What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another MLS Monday. My scribe Spike, Tyler, Henry, and Sydney here with y'all. After match day 2 is in the
Yeah.
books. And I gotta say, man, I think just real quick, taking a step back and looking from the airplane down at all of match day 2,
Yeah.
I actually think this is like one of the better match days in like going back into 2025, but like in a minute. I just feel like there was a good mixture of kind of what you got out of the games.
How so?
I mean, you had a really good Sunday night soccer, right? Like you had a good comeback, you had a really entertaining game. Really,
Yeah.
I think a lot of Sunday was for the most part entertaining. And then Saturday, you just kind of had a smorgasbord. I just think it was, if you were to tune in as a non MLS person, a non soccer person, you for the most part, you get some pretty entertaining matches, some pretty entertaining soccer.
You got some surprises. You got some storylines. Sunday night soccer is the headliner on Sundays, but even that NYCFC Philadelphia game was just dramatic to the end. So, dude, I cannot complain about this match day. I think I'm just glad this season is in full swing, and we're back to excitement. This is what I was missing for the past several months.
Yeah. So I guess what's you guys' biggest surprise over the weekend? I mean, it's not the notes. We didn't really carve out time for this, but Tyler, you mentioned, or you guys mentioned a lot of surprises. I guess what's kind of your big shock result of the weekend, Tyler?
Shock result, honestly, I think it was Charlotte going down 3-0 in like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
That was wild.
Yeah.
Totally unexpected, and that wasn't the only one. I mean, now the result didn't necessarily surprise me with Orlando and Miami, which we're going to talk about quite a bit, but Orlando going up 2-0 in the first half surprised me. That was shocking, and I was like, wow, look at this. Like, they're having a serious rebound, and it made me feel a little bit better about Atlanta United, because I was like, wow, is Miami about to get blanked 2 games in a row as well? And then they didn't. But yeah, to me, that Charlotte match was definitely a head scratcher.
Yeah. Look at Dallas, Nashville. They played to a nil little draw. I think they combined, or Dallas had 2 shots on goal. Nashville had 1, and all the talk about that high-powered attack, Surge, Mukhtar, Espinoza. So got 1 shot on goal. And then if you keep going, Salt Lake or RSL beating the Seattle Sounders. America First Field has kind of been a house of horrors for the Sounders as it is for the past few years, and RSL kind of continuing that trend. One of their homegrown players scored, 18-year-old Aiden Hazarkani scoring a really nice goal in that one. So I guess you could take a look at that as sort of a surprise. I guess, Henry, what do you have? Do you have any shock results from the weekend at all?
I mean, RSL Seattle was one that I was looking at, but I'm also going to give a shout to Minnesota beating Cincinnati 1-0. Look, I always going to going away in MLS is a challenge, and Allianz Field is certainly a tough ground to go to, but this is a Minnesota that is still kind of in disarray, I think. This is a team that is in transition, that has lost a lot of its kind of players, several players that made it special in 2025. And you're starting anew. And you were, and a new coach. And I don't know, Cincinnati had things figured out in match day 1. They looked solid in this game. Even they looked really good. And even the goal, it comes from a set piece that honestly it was very lucky, because it literally rebounds off the post and then it's put in just kind of smash and grab style. But I mean, it's a really good result for Minnesota on a night where James Rodriguez didn't even debut. He was just chilling on the sidelines the whole time.
It's available for selection, but he didn't play.
Exactly. So that to me is the shock result of the weekend, is that Cincinnati, with its defensive solidity and how good of a team it is, goes to Minnesota and kind of loses in that narrow fashion.
A quick shout out, just real quick, to Roman Celentano. Of course, he lets one in, but he makes 5 saves on the day. Drake Callender making 4 saves, stopping all 4 Cincinnati shots that he faced in goal for Minnesota United. So goalkeepers were kind of showcased, or a good showcase for goalkeepers. That one, XG was 2.8 for Minnesota to 1 for Cincinnati. So I mean, it wasn't like a defensive battle, or actually it kind of was, but in the sense that it wasn't like they went like Dallas and Nashville combined for 3 shots on goal or anything like that. But 10 shots on goal between the two sort of indicates, hey, there are more goals in it than the scoreline would indicate. So I feel like the goalkeepers deserve a bit of a nod in this one for Minnesota versus Cincinnati.
Yeah. And I think one thing about the Cincinnati match as well is Minnesota, they showed what you have to do to beat a team like Cincinnati already in week 2. Cincy's not going to be beaten easily.
Mm.
And their defense is just it's standout for sure. And I mean, we knew this going into the season, but
Yeah.
you have Miles Robinson, who is I think he definitely has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder considering how close he was to Qatar 2022.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then everything happened that season with Atlanta with the injury, and he obviously couldn't make it.
No.
He's not going to want to miss this one. And so, you still have to get selected. So he's going to do everything he can to make sure he is absolutely in Pochettino's eyes.
Yeah.
And Minnesota still came away with one, and it shows what you have to do and how difficult it is to get one over on Cincy this early in the season. But I did think it was funny, Harry. I was gonna touch on this, but it looked like James Rodriguez. He looked like he looked cold. He made me cold looking at him on the bench.
Apparently, it was like
That's
something
funny.
to the tune of like 17 degrees.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, James was like, "What the heck are we doing?"
I mean, it's not like he didn't know it's going to be like 17 degrees outside or anything like that in Minnesota in the middle of early March. So,
Bro was bundled up.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, huh?
No, I was going to say, yeah, Orlando taking that 2-0 lead. I think one of you had mentioned that as sort of being a surprise result, at least through halftime before Miami did what they did. But yeah, I tweeted it out. Questions to answer for Miami, even if they come back. And then sure enough, they did. They scored 4 the second half. Like I figured they would, and then won the game. But I don't know. Did we want to start there?
Yeah.
This episode.
Yeah, let's dive into Orlando, Miami for sure.
Yeah.
I think so. We definitely have plenty to talk about here, and we're going to jump into it. One thing I want to throw out there, because I saw this get popped up as well, Harry mentioning it. Oscar Pereira, he is a coach who you can look, and his glaring weakness has always been that he cannot close out a game.
Yeah.
Always. And there's philosophy, there's tactics, there's everything else. I hate it for him because Orlando has actually been a pretty good team over the past 3 or 4 seasons. They've actually been, pretty, I would say, above average.
Yeah.
They've been, able to come away with some really good wins, some good come from behind wins, but man, they have struggled with those that they should have put away and didn't.
Yeah.
You get dunked on in your house, 4 unanswered goals in 45 minutes. That's, like Harry said, that's job losing type material, especially after the way the past few seasons have gone, like not gone, but finished. High hopes and then not being able to finish it off.
And guys, don't forget they were 9th in the East last year. So Oscar Pereira went to the season, right, on a hot seat, needing to really get this team back to that top 4 spot that they were, or the years prior. I mean, it didn't matter because, like you said, Tyler, they couldn't finish in the playoffs. But yeah, this is a tough result for Orlando City. And credit to Javier Mascherano, who we kind of have talked about numerous times on the show. After they went down 2-0, Miami did. Mascherano at half took out Noah Allen, put in Matteo Silvetti, and went to 3 in the back. And then, sure enough, Silvetti scores in the 49th minute, Messi 57th minute, and then Segovia in the 85th, and Messi to ice it at the 90th minute. So we talk about, and Tyler, I'm going to shout you out because you have not been Javier Mascherano's biggest fan. You have to give him credit. He made a good tactical adjustment, and Miami ended up winning the game and turning back that 2-0 deficit at halftime.
Yeah. Again, I'll give credit where it's due. this game kind of felt like the way that the first half ended going into the locker room. It was going to be, I was thinking Miami could come out with a draw, right? Like I thought they could get to make it competitive, at least get back into it and snag a point, and then you're going home like, all right, kind of a smash and grab draw. But when they went into the locker room, I was thinking, all right, whoever has the better locker room talk is going to come out of this on top, even though Orlando's already up 2-0. And yeah, I mean, who knows what was said? Who knows that type of conversation? I'm sure.
Was Paredes like, don't blow it?
yeah. These guys don't screw this up. But yeah, I mean, whatever Mascherano said, and then the tactical adjustment, like you said, with Silvetti and just kind of adjust. It's not even like it was wholesale changes, right? Like making the little tweaks.
Right.
Whereas Pareja's side came out and just kind of looked like they dove right back into where they left off, and they were losing momentum going into the locker room. I think that's what irks me the most, and that kind of goes back to my previous point about not being able to close out a match. You're up 2-0. I get the 2-0 is the most dangerous lead. I get that. You got to close out a game at home in front of your fans. Like, your fans did everything they needed to do. Your fans were clearly given the business to Miami and everybody that was a Miami fan,
as usual,
with expletives and everything through the MLS audio.
We'll expect nothing less from Orlando City.
100%. But like, from a neutral perspective, looking at that, saying like, all right, environment, atmosphere, dude, the fans brought it. The fans did everything they needed to do. As a team, as a coach, you cannot let that 2-0 lead slip away like that. You can't do it, man. You've got to find a way to see out a game.
Now, I will say, it's not like Orlando was absolutely dominating in the first half. And it also, even up to the point where they got 2 goals, I don't remember exactly, but I think it was something to the tune of Orlando had 2 shots and Miami had like 8. So, dude, very, very much it was Orlando taking their chances. One of them was literally a Rodrigo De Paul giveaway, which we were totally memeing in our Discord, which if you're not in, definitely go and join. But yeah, we were memeing Rodrigo De Paul so hard between Tyler and I. And then he actually locks in and they have a semi-decent comeback there. But
he saw you guys' messages.
Oh yeah, he got mad.
This burner account.
That's the thing, right? Like, Orlando, like they needed to really hold on to that and really make some change to kind of solidify, because they were starting to get overrun by Miami at times, and they were lucky to go to the half up 2-0, I think.
Yeah.
And if you don't take action on that and you don't really administrate the game right, that's where it comes back to bite you. And I think that's what we saw later in this game, because when you have the quality of a player like Messi, and then a supporting cast as good as Telasco Segovia, who, even though he's young and is still kind of an under the radar guy, he is a very productive guy for Inter Miami. Very productive, and he had 2 assists in this game plus his goal. Matteo Silvetti, who is young and dynamic and just brings a different energy to this game. He did so in the playoffs last season, benching Luis Suarez. And then coming in and helping Miami to an MLS Cup. He goes and scores another banger. Like, this is what a team like Miami can do if you give them even a sliver of a chance to get back into the game. And Orlando, unfortunately, that's exactly what they did. And that's why they lost this game.
Let me ask you guys this, though. Are you at least a little bit concerned about Inter Miami? This is now 5 goals in the past 2 matches that they've given up. So I feel like Miami says we're kind of panicking at halftime.
I don't feel like that's new, though.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like all the conversations about Miami, they weren't going to lose a match the entire season. They were the Invincibles and all of that. They get shelled at the Coliseum, LA Coliseum by LAFC. They go down 2-0. Yeah, I know.
We talked about it last week. That's probably MLS Cup 2026. LAFC is probably the top team in the West, right?
No, to take nothing away from LAFC, yeah.
The quality that they have, they are the team to beat in the West, and Inter Miami is the team to beat in the East, and probably but in MLS, if we are talking about the league wide, it is between those two teams. And so for Miami to lose against LAFC, that doesn't necessarily knock my confidence or shake my confidence in Inter Miami's ability to compete. I still think that they're going to be among the top teams in the East and very, very good this season.
No, I agree. And that's not to take nothing away from LAFC. That's a tremendous side. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see these two teams again in December at the end of it all. But I mean, you have to. I mean, Tyler kind of mentioned that. This defense has always been a talking point for Inter Miami, and it on paper it doesn't look good because it's 5 goals conceded in 2 matches. But at the same time, I mean, you can't get to shootouts. I think if you can, Miami are more than capable of coming out of it, right? Because of the quality in the attack that they have. You mentioned DePaul had the giveaway. I mean, we've talked about his inconsistency. So it's not to say this team is flawless, right? But I mean, if they're to do what a lot of people are expecting and repeat, maybe those flaws need to be resolved before they get too far into the season,
Yeah. I mean, I think the playbook when it comes to playing against Miami in 2026 has to change a little bit. Not a lot, because you've got a team that still, like you just said, like we've alluded to many times, their defense it's not good. It's never really been good. And teams have been able to exploit it. Look at Atlanta 2024. I mean, a few versions of Atlanta have done it. LAFC did it already this season. Like, they can be had for sure. But you said it. You get into a shootout with Lionel Messi, that's the dumbest thing you're ever going to do. So if you see yourself up 2-0 at home from like 2 shots on goal, and one of them banger of a Travella, by the way, that was a shot. It was so beautiful. You need to adjust. You have to be able to play some chess and make the adjustments to say, we can't keep pushing like we're doing. We snagged 2. We probably shouldn't have 2. We probably shouldn't have 1. The statistics don't even add up to having 1. So let's not take our foot off the gas. Let's start steering into the turn a little bit and kind of figure out what it is we need to do. And at that point, yeah, maybe you're number 6 or you're number 8 to a degree tag team. You've got to lock in a little bit more on Messi and just stay on top of him and just cut off everything you possibly can with him and play, a little bit more defensively while allowing your guys up top to be able to still do their job, hold a little bit of possession and try to hit on the counter. Maybe you then go snag a third, but you cannot continue to play the same game. You cannot leave yourself wide open, because if Miami is down 2-0, they're going to look at you and say, okay, well, we got to come back anyway. So let's put everything we can forward. And Harry saying get in foot race versus Falcon at the top with Rodrigo de Paul. And like you've got to be able to say, you've got to be able to adjust for the game state, because if Miami is like, hey dude, we've got nothing to lose, and they start putting RDP further up, they start putting Messi in places where he's going to be dangerous and you've got nobody marking him. Then you have Silvetti coming in. You've got all these things happening. They throw caution to the wind, and all of a sudden, boom, you're punched in the mouth, and you're trying to figure out where the heck it came from.
So just quickly, Orlando now 0-0. 0 points for the first 2 matches. NYC, we'll talk about NYC coming in not coming in. NYC hosting Orlando next week on the 7th. Then they go to Montreal. Then they have Nashville on the road. So these are 2 matches where you're kind of maybe not going to be the favorite. Montreal, I mean, you should win that one, but then NYC, Nashville, and then after that, guys, they have to go to BMO Stadium to face LAFC. So 3 of these next 4 matches, I feel, I mean, 3 of these next 4 matches are really going to tell us a story of where this season may be headed for Orlando. Don't you guys agree?
But maybe towards the end of that stretch, they might have a certain French player.
That's true.
Because Antoine Griezmann might be very, very close. The negotiations are advancing from what we heard. So maybe I would love for Griezmann to come to MLS. I mean, I wish it was Atlanta, obviously, but any big name is really, really good for the league. But yeah, I would be more concerned with Orlando right now than Miami, considering, losing the Miami out of context isn't bad, but in this context, it's worse.
Yeah.
And then obviously match day 1, you lose to freaking Red Bull High. So
Pretty much.
it's not great. That's kind of Oscar Pereira, as we said, he might be on the hot seat at this point, especially going into this tough run that we said. If he gets off to a very, very shaky, continues this shaky start,
yeah,
there are going to be questions asked of him, especially in this season where you have such tough competition in the East.
Yeah. Harry's saying in the chat that Griezmann might stay in Atletico Madrid until summer after the World Cup. So obviously that's something we'll keep an eye on. But I mean, Tyler, what are you thinking about Orlando? You think
Yeah,
they may be in trouble early, or
with Antoine, the rumors are flying left and right. That's just natural when you have a player of his caliber, for sure. I mean, I think with Orlando, what it comes down to is how long are you okay with having a coach that can't quite get it done? You have a coach who can get you really close, but has never, I mean, short of the Open Cup, and not knocking that at all, even though some fans will throw an asterisk up there and say, oh, they played Sacramento, and Orlando was spying and all this other stuff, whatever. You haven't had a coach that's been able to get you that extra step, the full package, as it were. And so, it's not about losing these games. It's about the way you lost them. That's more concerning to me, really. So, I mean, he's one of, I'll say one of a couple, and don't ask me to name other names right now, but one of a couple that I would argue are the seat's getting turned up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've got, beyond that, anything else on Orlando and Miami?
No, I think we can, definitely move on
All
to
right.
Orlando's next opponent, I guess.
We have, this was honestly one of my favorite games of the weekend. I really enjoyed watching this game. But New York City versus Philly. It was dramatic at the end. It was dramatic. I mean, but the thing is, right, we always talk about playing away from home in MLS. And New York City said, screw that. And I get they're only like, I don't know, 100 miles away from each other. Whatever.
Yeah.
New York City went to Philly and said, hey, dude, let's play ball. And acted like they did not care that they are in one of the most hostile places you could go. And they balled out. I was really, really impressed.
I thought you were gonna go, Sydney. Sorry.
No, go for it.
I was about to go, but I want to let y'all jump in before I go into.
No, it was a fun game. It was dramatic. You get a game winner at the end after just an intense contest, and look, these are two teams that were at the top of the East and just MLS in general last season. But yeah, it was a very entertaining match, and I've got no complaints about it at all. Philly with another red card, which is mildly concerning. Like, what is going on over here?
And the second team in 2 matches that New York has played that has been given a red card.
Yeah.
Wait, really? Hold on. Who was who did NYCFC play last week?
The Galaxy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Galaxy, right?
Oh yeah,
I checked myself, but yeah, it's the second match in a row where Philadelphia Players got a red card. It was DC United last week.
Oh, okay.
Actually, so
but yeah, I mean, it's a good game. My preseason concerns about Philly seem verified. This is a rough start, and they're trying to learn to live without the guys, right? The guys that have brought them this far. How do you move on from a guy that's solid at the back as Jakob Glesnes? How do you create now without the cheat code that is Kai Wagner? And it's kind of this I'm always going to compare things to Atlanta, but it feels like what happened after 2019 in Atlanta United, where you basically had an exodus of the championship squad and the guys that took you to high places, an MLS Cup, and almost returned to MLS Cup in 2019.
Right.
For Philly, it's guys that for the most part have stuck around throughout a supporter shield, a couple of supporter shields, uh, almost getting to MLS Cup, getting to MLS Cup, and narrowly losing because of Gareth freaking Bale.
Yeah.
Like you move on from that and suddenly have to find a way to kind of continue that leadership and make up what these guys uh, brought, not just on the field but also off the field. The cultural aspect, the leadership aspect, just so much that we don't see maybe behind the scenes. So I think it's interesting how the union goes about this renovation.
Yeah, when you talk about leadership, of course they have that in Ali Bedoya. You have that in Andre Blake, two players who
How much
that
longer?
Yeah, no, exactly. But by the way, shout out to Andre Blake making 8 saves and the losing effort for Philly, and the scoreline could have been much worse. But yeah, I'm with you. Where are the goals going to come from with Baribogan, with Uagan? You mentioned Glesnes. You mentioned Wagner. That's just the MO of the Union front office, right? That's something that we've seen time and time again from them. They've let players just walk instead of renewing them. And yeah, it's a poor precedent to set. Yes, there are some parallels to Atlanta, but I feel like we've seen it more often with the Philadelphia Union than we have with Atlanta United to some extent. And the more this happens, the more you can see sort of Jim Curtin's frustration, I think, with the organization. And that's why he was shown the door, because it really ran counter to what he wanted. It's a team that would be willing to invest, be willing to retain players, guys that can help this team. But it seems like back to the drawing board. Yeah, I feel like Brady Cardinal is kind of cursed, right? Because I feel like the first year his teams do extremely well, and then the second year they suck. So I don't know. It's too early to know if this is gonna be with the Union. The same thing's gonna be with the Union, but I don't know. It's not gonna be the same thing as they were last year.
No, it feels like Philly's playing as a skeleton of themselves, which I mean, I guess really in a way they are, but they just, yeah, I hesitate to say this because I literally said the same exact quote last year, but their offseason didn't do it for me.
No.
And then last season they went and won the freaking supporter shield. But they're not starting off great this season.
No.
And it looks like they're struggling. I mean, at home. Not that they played a bad game, but they were the second best team on the day, for sure. And so when you're in front of all of your fans and that's the way it goes, I mean, especially after the way the first one went and the way your offseason went, you got to start asking questions. Yeah, you start asking questions now because you got rid of so many players. And you also have a whole lot of drama going on in the front office that hasn't been resolved yet. So, yeah, it's a recipe for disaster for sure. New York, on the other hand, and yes, so it was LA Galaxy last week when they played. LA Galaxy got a red card. This week, Philly got a red card. In terms of the way this game played out, I mean, the red card, though it came 2 minutes into stoppage, it did, I guess, it did have a direct significance on the way that the match ended because of how much stoppage time there was. But New York was the better team. The red card was, I think, a lot of just frustration, from Philly's side, and frustration that the fans were feeling, everything else. But New York City, the way they played, I mean, they are playing front-footed soccer. Philly tried to press them and press them hard, and New York said, "Okay, whatever. We're just going to play right through you." And they did it and looked really good doing it. Like it wasn't like, one good sequence out of 10 ended up in the final third with opportunities, but they put 11 shots on goal.
Yeah.
They were playing around a pretty hard press for most of the game. And I just thought like in the first match, it was one thing, there was definitely some factors that's tough where they ended up at, but like going to essentially a derby, right? You're right next door, go into that hostile environment and walking out of that locker room and saying, all right, cool, let's play our game. We say that all the time, right? Talking about like away matches, just go play football, just go play your
Right.
game. We say it all the time. But it's really rare that you see a team just go and do it. And you saw that with New York. I mean, you saw it with Miami and Orlando as well this week. But I think New York City right now is playing beyond the sum of their parts.
Yeah, I was gonna say just real quick. I mean, didn't we all three have them not winning the Shield at pretty high up in the standings? I mean, um, they did a decent job in Janssen's first year as head coach, but I mean, they have the pieces, guys, to make a run at maybe a top 4 spot. They came in 5th last year, but I guess what this is a team that, I mean, hopefully for them they could continue to put the pieces together, and like you said, Tyler, continue to play more than some of his parts. I mean, if you have some spots open in the summer, make a play for some additional players, additional resources that can help your team. But I'm not going to say it's a great win for for a New York City FC, but it's a needed win. It's a needed win, and gets into the win color for the first time this season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much else to add on to that. Honestly, it's just a solid performance. Sometimes you need to eke out these wins. At times, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
They're continuing to play good soccer. They're very solid, even without Alonso Martinez, who honestly, I think in preseason, I that weighed heavily into whether I truly believed in them going into this season, because so much of their goals came from Alonso Martinez, and so many of their games won came because Alonso Martinez would clutch up and sometimes steal 3 points out of nowhere. So, but even without him, they are finding impact from players like Nico Fernandez Mercado, from Hannes Wolf. I mean, they've got a team that knows how to compete, that got to the Eastern Conference Final deservedly, and the only thing that stopped them was freaking Messi on one. That's literally it. So I trust this team a little more. We'll see. Again, it's only the second game of the season, but the signs look positive for me.
Agreed.
Yeah, for sure. Philly in trouble though. Philly's struggling. Like what I see out of New York. Yes, it is the second week, but I love the cojones to be able to travel somewhere where, admittedly, objectively, the fans are not fun to deal with. If you're not,
that's Orlando.
You telling me you don't get tired of hearing dupe when they score?
That doesn't get old at all, does it?
You walked into their house and you said, all right, let's ball, and put on 3 times the amount of shots on goal. What do we have? Yeah. I mean, 11-4 in their house. Possession was almost even. Everything else, honestly, was almost even. But normally that's not what you see for a derby or even just a regular away match. You just don't see that kind of equivalent. It's usually like pretty swinging one way or the other. Maybe the end result doesn't necessarily determine or dictate kind of where the stats lie, but this one, I mean, I think it tells a really interesting story. So I don't know. I was really impressed with New York, man. I like the grit. I'm gonna use that word. The grit. It was fun. So
we'll call them New York. I mean, that's Red Bull New York City.
Harry's saying
we'll talk about
in Philadelphia. What?
Harry's not wrong. They do boo Sam.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know that. I don't know.
It's Philly fans.
Because he's not from Philly.
Yeah.
That's why.
He's from up north somewhere.
All right.
Tyler, yeah. We have some business to take care of, Tyler, don't we?
I do believe so. All right, so if you guys are just joining in for the first time or not, definitely go join up on our Patreon. Patreon subscription gets you into our Discord, gets you a lot of other benefits, Atlanta United training ground updates, mailbags that cover Atlanta United and MLS, lots of different stuff as a whole. but definitely get you into the Discord, which is always hopping. We've got all kinds of conversations going on in there. Messi League Soccer, as we call it. Worldwide football, obviously Atlanta United, but every other sport just about that you can think of, video games, movies, the whole 9 yards. So patreon.com/scarves and spikes, and also go to scarvesandspikes.com. That's got all of your Atlanta United news. We have NWSL news. We got MLS news. We have World Cup news, especially as it pertains to Atlanta. So that's links on the website, but also you can just go to Atlanta2026worldcup.com, get you straight there. But besides that, subscribe. If you have not subscribed to the channel here, you're watching it on YouTube. If you're watching it on X, go to YouTube and subscribe. But go click the little button down there, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell so you know when we're going live, because we have multiple shows a week.
If you're listening to Apple Podcasts and Spotify, same thing. Hit subscribe, leave a review, let us know how we're doing. We read all the reviews. But yeah, we've seen a lot of new subscribers. So if you're listening, welcome in, welcome along. But if you're listening and have not subscribed on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please feel free to do that. Leave a review as well. Let us know how we're doing. Whether you like the show, hate the show, let us know. Be honest. Red Bull High, huh?
So let's
Red Bull High School.
Let's figure something out. So I mentioned Charlotte, right, as the game that kind of threw me.
Yeah.
Sydney, I'll start with you.
Yes.
Name one Golden Boot leader.
Well, Julian Hall.
Okay.
I have it written down.
Henry, name the other Golden Boot leader.
Lionel Messi. Nah, just kidding. Joao Klaus. Santa Claus.
Yeah.
He's back.
Don't go to Philly.
Don't go to Philly, Klaus.
No, it's just wild. Definitely not on the bingo card. And if there was some kind of place you could go put a bet on Julian Hall being a Golden Boot co-leader in week 2,
potential dual national Julian Hall, by the way.
You probably aren't listening to us, and you've probably already retired to an island somewhere. And good for them. Good for Red Bull High. But it's two teams playing football, and not in the way that I think anybody expected them to, right?
Yeah.
Like, not expecting this young kid to be balling out the way that he has, and then not expecting the fix for LA to just be Santa Claus coming to town. It's wild. That's where we're at, though. It's 2026.
I mean, what do we want to break down first? Because honestly, both storylines are equally impressive. But I'll just talk about Red Bulls for a sec.
Yeah.
Look, Michael Bradley, he debuted with the Metro Stars at 17. And he is instilling that same confidence in this group of homegrowns that they've got. And Julian Hall is just one of them. And obviously he's the headliner because he has 3 goals in 2 games as a 17-year-old. I think he broke a record as the youngest in MLS history to score in the first 2 games of a club season, or some stat like that from MLS Communications. But but that's impressive. You also have Adri Mehmeti, who has, first of all, he has apparently a large following of like these USMNT scout accounts or like these what have you, youth soccer accounts are like, this is the new big thing. He's massive. Like, he looks good as well. There's another one, Matthew Dos Santos, who's a 17-year-old left back. Like, this team, I think I checked on Saturday, and their average age was like 22 or something like that.
Wow.
and keep in mind, they have Emil Forsberg in their lineup, and he's like 32, something like that, maybe older. Look, it's impressive that these kids are showing up and that they're performing, and that the moment isn't too big for them, that they are repaying the confidence that Michael Bradley has in them big time. And look, Julian Hall's goals, he's not scoring like freaking bang, I'm hitting it from like 30 yards out and it goes top bins. He isn't dribbling past 5 defenders or anything.
Right.
He isn't doing anything like groundbreaking. He's just finding the right spaces, and he's doing the
Yeah.
fundamentals of what a forward needs to do. He is reading the game well, and just has the instinct that, hey, if I go to these positions where there's a high probability of the ball being there and there being good chances there, I am going to score goals. And that happened against Orlando. Pretty much his first goal was a tap in. The other one I think was pretty similar to that. And even this other goal that they scored this week to win against New England, it was just a very, just a tap in, put it away. It's very simple.
Mhm.
It's nothing out of the ordinary. It's nothing out of this world, but it's getting the basics right and being consistent. That is impressive to see in a player so young.
It makes it sound so easy, though, Henry.
They make it look easy, and that's impressive to me.
Sometimes
honestly.
you just don't ever think it, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Remind me, how much is Julian Hall making?
Yeah. I mean, exactly. But
How much did they pay for him?
yeah,
Did they pay $22 million for him? If you get the joke, you get it.
yeah.
And if you do get it, I'm so sorry that you have to get it. If you don't, keep living in bliss.
No, but going back to Henry's point, I mean, it's the trust that Michael Bradley has shown these guys off the jump. I made a note about Choupo-Moting, who has started or not played as a substitute in both matches, combined 22 minutes, not including stoppage time, in the first 2 matches that Red Bulls have played. So, I mean, the question is he in Michael Bradley's plans? And I don't think there's an injury. I don't think there's anything like that. It's just that Michael Bradley, again, trusts these players. He said after the match, I have the quote here, talking about these 3 players, Hall, Mehmeti, and Dos Santos. He said they have their football, they have personality. They're really talented young players. They have really good mentalities. They come ready every day, ready to train, ready to work, ready to push themselves. He goes on to say, we understand that with any young player, with any player in general, not every weekend is going to be perfect. Not every game is going to be their best, but we're going to continue to find the right ways to help these guys and make sure they continue to take the next step, end quote. So that was my thought here. Is this sustainable? Can they sustain this over a long period of time, right? And if it doesn't happen, I mean, what happens with kids when things kind of don't go right on the soccer field, on the pitch, or really anywhere competitive sports? They start to kind of lose that confidence a little. So what happens when Julian Hall loses that confidence? Mehmeti, Dos Santos? Does Michael Bradley have the ability to boost that confidence and make the changes needed to help this team move forward? Because, I mean, as much as they're doing well, you can't really depend on these kids to win you games week in and week out. It's just not sustainable in my eyes. But once they hit that wall, if they hit that wall, what happens next? And you look at their schedule, and Harry makes a note of their schedule. They play Montreal. So that could be a bloodbath for the Red Bulls.
It's a high school soccer game.
Yeah.
It's high school versus high school.
Yeah. I think my biggest thing with Michael Bradley, and if you're a fan, I would say caution yourself against feeling like this is the lineup he's going to trot out for 34 games in MLS.
Yeah.
Because I know he gets booed every time he comes to the Benz and all. One of a couple, but he's a guy who I think is smart enough to know that you have to be very careful with that confidence, with managing the confidence. It's not just about managing minutes, it's about managing the confidence. And with a group of young players, especially balling out the way that they are, they're on top of the world at this moment. After the start to the season they've had, they're on top of the world. But at some point, whether it's next week, I doubt it, but it could be because it's MLS, or in a couple weeks, they're going to have a tough one. They're going to have a rough match, a rough go of it. And at that point, that's not the moment to be like, all right, well, you're not starting next game, because that would kill a teenager's confidence like that. So the conversations, and I'm not saying they're not happening or are happening, or I don't know, But the conversations can't be only had after the bad loss or after the big win. The conversations have to be ongoing. They have to
Yeah.
be, hey, dude, y'all are killing it. Y'all are absolutely killing it.
Yeah.
But that's going to get you more playing time, but it does not entitle you to play, 2,500 minutes to see whatever it is.
Got to prove game
But
in
it's
and
already in
game
their
out.
head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because you have to set those expectations because the moment that they have a bad game and then all of a sudden now Choupo-Moting started, whoever else is starting over them, they're gonna get all in their head. They're gonna start thinking all kinds of things, and that's gonna
Yeah,
cause
the
them problems.
kids.
So
And
Exactly.
rotation's a thing too. There's other things you need to administer. Look a little bit forward in the calendar.
Yep.
After this Montreal game, you go to Toronto, who by that point will probably have Josh Sargent available. Charlotte, then you go to Charlotte, who at this point we're not sure what their level is, but they're still a decent side. Then you host Cincinnati, and then you go to Miami Freedom Park, right? So
Not easy matches.
Yeah.
That's a complicated calendar that's going to test, the fortitude of Michael Bradley's side and how these kids are going to adapt to just tougher opponents, and can they keep this up, and can this be sustainable? But we'll see, man. I'm excited to see where this goes.
Who's not young is Klaus.
He's very much not young.
Very much not a teenager. Not currently in high school, I guess. But Klaus, I mean,
Santa's a couple of centuries old. What are you talking about?
yeah, 29, just turned 29, but still, not nowhere near teenage years. But 3 goals in 2 matches, guys, for LA Galaxy, who had just a time of it last year after winning MLS Cup. There are questions about Greg Vanney. Will he be sacked? Would he be brought back in 2026? He was, of course, which I thought was the right decision. But Klaus, 3 goals, like I said, 2 matches, has a brace against Charlotte, which, I mean, I feel like you don't see a lot of bad games from them in goal. I mean, Kalina is one of the top goalkeepers in MLS on his day, but you don't see him give up 3 goals a whole lot. My thing is with Klaus, if he can continue to build that partnership with Gabriel Peck, who assisted on one of his goals, and Joseph Paintsoul, this attack, could really take them places. Of course, the big question coming in was they didn't have Pooch. Where would they go? And Pooch was the heart and soul of that team, right? And it was just devastating to hear his injury from not just LA Galaxy perspective, but from a league perspective, from a neutral perspective, because he's such a fun player, right? But if they can get those 3 players clicking, Klaus, Peck, Paintsoul, this team will be, I think, not necessarily top of the West because LAFC, Vancouver, and all of that, but maybe a top 4 team, and could have. I mean, you can't do any worse than you did last year if you're LA, right? But
I think it makes them a more complete football team because last year it was just clear there were pieces missing that were vital to the identity that the Galaxy wanted to play and carry over from the prior year, right, when they won. So it was a crappy situation for the Galaxy. It has been, because you were thinking, all right, we're going to get right back to it this year, and then you have the news about Pooch and his kind of re-surgery. It's really unfortunate, but you've got a team that signs are it's early, but the signs are positive. I mean, and you look at what they did this weekend. This wasn't just like and you had a really good game at home. You played Charlotte off the pitch. Like, statistically, and the scoreline pretty much represents it, because you knocked in 3 goals in 12 minutes. Or 13, whatever. But then you look at the stats. Shots, 14-5. Shots on target, 12-2.
Yeah.
60-40% possession. They doubled the amount of passes over Charlotte. Doubled. Like, that means you're just playing all around them and kind of and you can afford to do it at that point, but you're kind of making fun of them. You're up 3-0. Hey, dude, I'm going to play keep away for the rest of the match. And that's all they really had to do. But they didn't just kind of sit back and rest. They still took their opportunities, but they played very intelligently. So, yeah, if you can keep that trio with Klaus and Peck and Paintsel. You know, it used to be the killer peas. Now it's the, I don't know. We got to come up with something. PKP, PPK.
PKP, PPK.
PPK is like old 007. Anyway, that's a different conversation for a different time. But if you can get them going, get them like really, really working together, like you said, Sydney, I think you've got something that could really, really work, and something that'll get you into the playoffs. And that's what matters, because at that point, then you just go see how the cards, you know, are dealt. But this team, the way that they've played, it at least gets you into the playoffs.
I'll add this quickly.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I'll add this quickly. Galena had 8 saves in that match. So, I mean, I feel like a few other goalkeepers in MLS, the scoreline would have been a lot worse. So I feel like in that regard, the scoreline maybe flatters Charlotte a little bit. But I just want to throw that out there real quick, Henry.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Galaxy, they were creating. They could have had plenty more. This could have gotten uglier. I mean, 13 minutes in to be down 3-0. I was shocked watching that. But yeah, I was gonna say, do y'all remember 2023 when Klaus was in St. Louis and opposition defenders just for some reason would pass the ball to him?
I do remember.
It was literally like, guys, what is going on here?
Turn around and like directly pass it to him.
And then that happened in this game. Andrew Privet literally gave Klaus the ball and said, "Here, score on me, please." I don't understand. But dude, old João Klaus is back, and that is so good. He needed to leave St. Louis. Not that St. Louis is a bad environment or anything, or that it's a bad club, but he just needed to get out of that headspace and a change of scenery. And that's exactly what LA Galaxy provides for him. And it's kind of a mutually beneficial relationship, because the Galaxy needed someone new too. They needed a new marquee number 9. They still hadn't replaced Dejan Joveljic from when he left after the 2024 season. And so now you bring in a guy who has proven in MLS, who clearly can still ball, still has that ability, but just needs a different accompaniment, just needs a different group around him, and one that complements him very, very well. As you said, Peck works very, very well with him. Just his pace and his ability to get forward and find Klaus in these positions where he can just finish and show his finishing ability. Klaus can also create, and that's something about him where his qualities can help you replace a little bit of what you miss with Ricky Puig. So it's a match made in heaven, and it's clearly paying dividends early in the season.
Would you say he needed a new supporting cast? I mean, LA and also. I feel like that's a missed opportunity, Henry.
Yeah, I'm slipping. I'm sorry, guys.
Moments passed.
It was a good try. It was a good try. I will say, though, I think to that point, St. Louis went through so many freaking changes from when they came into the league, and they were having fun, and they were a balanced team, and then they went to a style that just did not benefit Klaus at all. Like, not even kind of. And now he's back in an environment for sure that it helps him, because he gets the ball and he has people around him that can actually do something. St. Louis sat back last year, and all they did was want to park a bus and then hope that you could make something happen down the other end of the pitch with 1 versus 8. And it was never going to work.
Really?
So you've got a guy that can actually play.
Stunning.
You've got a guy that can actually ball, and he's on a more well-rounded soccer team this year. And it's another perfect example of what, one really good move, maybe not the flashiest move, but what one really good move can do for a team in Major League Soccer.
Yeah. Guys, I feel like, I'm just looking at our notes here, and this is going to sound kind of weird. I feel like a lot of attention has been on LAFC, a lot of attention has been on Inter Miami. But guys, San Diego FC has picked up right where they left off last year. 5-0 against Montreal, 2-0 against St. Louis, 7 goals in 2 matches in MLS play, and they're, of course, in Champions League. So this is all without Chucky Lozano, too.
Imagine paying a DP $6 million to not play. That's just wild to me.
Yeah.
Look, when they announced and they just came out to the media and said, yeah, Chucky Lozano's not on our plans, that stunned me because I'm like, dude, you annihilated all of your leverage in negotiation, and now you got to pay this guy.
Yeah.
And you got to find him a new home or something. You have a DP slot that's just not doing anything for you.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, now they're showing that they can do that. That they're so good that they can do that, because Anders Dreyer is still elite like he was last season. He's still bagging those goals. He's still doing exactly what you need from him in the final third. The supporting cast is great. This is a team that they put 5 past Montreal last week. And again, Montreal's not a super impressive side, but they score goals for fun. And they are still a very fun soccer team to watch. And I'm interested to see kind of what they do going forward when they decide to use the one open DP slot they have and potentially the other one that they could open if they do end up moving from Chucky Lozano. But yeah, San Diego still hot.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny because we talked about statistically Orlando earlier scoring 2 goals basically on 2 shots on target. San Diego scored 5 with 6 shots on target, which is ridiculous. So, like, I don't know. I agree. I think everybody was kind of going into this season with that cautious expectation that, are they going to have that sophomore slump? Is this going to be like when they fall off after a phenomenal first year? And 2 games in, they're fun still. And yeah, I think that's the biggest story is like Chuky's not playing. I would love to know more of that dynamic in terms of why, like we've heard like little bits and pieces, but are you keeping them around for any particular reason? Are you not using a buyout? Like what's the situation there? But either way, like you're getting it done without a serious talent. So you don't need to change anything. Like you're absolutely doing work. And so, yeah, I get it. Montreal's Montreal. People are going to keep dunking on Montreal until they play Atlanta, and then their season's going to turn around. But like you can't take away what 7? Is it 7 total goals on the season already?
Yeah.
Like hey, you're doing something right. Doing something right. So kudos to San Diego.
And they're not just doing it against bad teams, guys. They're doing it in Champions Cup as well. Pumas right now is the joint highest scoring team in the Clausura at this point in time. 4th place in the standings through, I believe, 8 matches. They put 4-1 on them at Snapdragon Stadium. Of course, they lost 1-0 in the away leg, but by then the tie was already decided in that first leg. But yeah, they're doing it against all sorts of opponents here. And they have a chance to do it even more. They're at Sporting Kansas City next week. They're at Dallas the week after, home against RSL. So this is a team that the schedule sets up very well for them favorably to maybe even put more wins together and kind of do the reverse of what St. Louis, to your point, Tyler, did from their first year to their second. This looks sustainable. This looks like this isn't a flash in the pan, one and done. That's credit to Tyler Heaps, who got a contract extension. So that's a few short days ago. And a credit to Mikey Vargas as well, the way he has coached this talent. And as a first-time MLS head coach, he could not have done any better at this point.
Yeah, and then Champions Cup as well. They are getting ready to face Toluca, which is obviously a very good team in Liga MX, still a top team. That's going to be fun to watch. But yeah, it's just a very well organized team, and one that plays fast, dynamic, just attacking soccer. Everyone kind of knows the game plan. There's just so much connectivity in this team. It's a well coached side, and one that clearly they want more in year 2.
100%. 100%. I feel like we're going to be talking a lot about San Diego this year, more in the positive light. I think it's one thing to start off a season and say, all right, you just kind of don't know where they're at, but you don't go and score 7 unanswered goals, keep 2 clean sheets if you're not doing something right. So
How many
yeah,
do they
the whole organization.
How many are they going to score against Kansas?
I was just thinking about that when I was looking at the matches. We're getting ready to hit on matches to watch, but I was like, yeah, to y'all's points though, that organization, the whole group is doing something right when you can sit there and say, hey, a DP who's a great player, we know this, you're just not going to play. There's some kind of disagreement. You're just not going to be part of it. That's fine. Do what you want to do, but we're moving on without you, whether you like it or not. So for the whole organization to be able to say, cool, like let's roll with it, and then come out and do what they've done in the first 2 matches, like good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we'll see how the curb stomping does go against SKC. But who wants to go first? Your matches to watch of this upcoming match day 3.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
We're gonna run it back. We're gonna do a little take 2. I said I picked the Minnesota-Cincinnati game last time, and I was super excited about James, and I did a whole bit about that. So I'm going to repeat it now. My match to watch is going to be Nashville SC versus Minnesota United at 8:30 on Saturday, because it's the James debut, guys. I sure hope it is. It's the James debut. We're so excited. We're busting out the arepas. Like, y'all come over. We're gonna have a great time. He's gonna ball out. I do have him on my fantasy team, so I hope he plays. But yeah, I'm super excited, obviously, to see a big name and a name that, obviously, for me as a soccer fan, means a lot, because I don't know if I said this last week, but watching him in the 2014 World Cup is part of what made me really fall in love with soccer. So I hope to see him debut against Nashville. First of all, because Nashville is a very, very good team. It's going to be a very fun game to watch. And because I just want to see James potentially, maybe, replicate that goal from 2014.
You took mine. I was gonna say Nashville, Minnesota, but fortunately I have the backup. Sunday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, Red Bull New York. Oh no, that's not the one. That's the one. I'm sorry. Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. I believe that's a Sunday night soccer game. FC Cincinnati versus Toronto FC in the Battle of the FCs at TQL Stadium. Cincinnati trying to bounce back from its loss the other day on Saturday. Toronto TFC potentially debuting Josh Sargent on the road. So we'll see if he gets in, if he gets a red out against a TFC side that FC Cincinnati side that we've already said are just so tight defensively. Of course, lost 1-0 to Minnesota, but it's just a tight game from a defensive standpoint. It's got a tight scoreline. And yeah, they're as good as a defensive team as is in MLS, and they have been for several years. But again, I'm interested to see again if Josh Sargent, say that 5 times fast. Like, we mentioned last week. We said that last week, right?
Josh Sargent. Wow.
It starts to like roll together. It doesn't feel right.
No, but we'll see if Sargent does make his debut. I mean, he has a chip on his shoulder. He wants to get inside the national team setup. So, he'll be looking to put on for Poach with World Cup coming up. But yeah, Cincinnati TFC is my match to watch.
It's a good one. I'm going to jump back all the way to the beginning of match day 3, and I'm going to go with New York City and Orlando City.
Good one.
Solid.
I feel like I'm not going to sit here and say these are 2 teams at a flashpoint because it's game 3 of the season, but New York City playing really good football. Orlando City blowing games. And I feel like New York City is in a much more favorable position because obviously it's being played at Yankee Stadium. Orlando, they had their opportunities at home, didn't do it, couldn't handle it, dropped the ball. And I do think Oscar Perez, the seat's getting warm.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not burning, but it's getting warm. And I don't see this to be a game that Orlando goes up and just miraculously pulls out a win in a baseball field against the team that plays on the baseball field all the time. But I do think it'll be entertaining. I think it'll be fun, and I'm really curious to see how City not handles, that's not the best word, how they continue that momentum coming off of this win this past weekend, because that's one of those that the momentum should carry you for a long time. When you're up, beating a team at home, you get a little heartbroken because you give up an equalizer right before the final whistle, you think, and then you go and you hit the game winner 9 minutes into stoppage. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be a blowout, but I think it'll be entertaining. I think it'll be a fun one.
Gentlemen, do we have a drunk uncle game of the week match day? I was looking at them and trying to come up with one.
I'll throw out one, I think, for a lot of the reasons we mentioned right before we got to this segment, but San Diego and SKC.
It's going to be a one-sided drunk uncle.
It's a one. Yeah, somebody's drunk in this one. That guy literally at the bar that drank way too much and then decided to run his mouth to, the MMA fighter across the table or whatever. That's what this feels like.
Sporty Kansas City fans.
That's what this is going to be.
Sporty Kansas City fans may want to be drunk by the time this match is over.
Yeah.
Man, how things are going to end for that.
And it's in Kansas City, so at least you got that going for them. But even that, the win probability on Google is still 52% for San Diego. Should tell you a lot about SKC right now.
I was going to say maybe New England, Houston, because Houston had 2 red cards against LAFC. So yeah, and then New England is another team that's still trying to figure things out. Yeah, that's the one that has potential. That one is TBD though, so who knows?
I would even throw the Atlanta RSL game back out there possibly because we covered this team, and I don't know what the heck we're gonna see on Saturday.
We don't want to watch these games sober.
Yeah,
we have to though.
We do.
Banned from the press box if not.
That being said, this is the perfect time to segue really quick. If you are going to be at the Atlanta United game this weekend, come see us because we will be hanging out in and around the tailgate, the Gulch, as it were, hanging out, with everybody, just kind of working our way through. So just enjoying it. And then we'll be up in the press box covering the game. But yeah, y'all go find us if you're in the area. But beyond that, any final thoughts on match day 2? Or going
Just
into
confirmation that New England Houston is postponed because of no grass, apparently. So yeah, just throwing that out there. The drunk uncle game of the week is a hungover.
Yeah.
There's something going on this summer that they had to pull up the grass at.
I think a little tournament that they're doing, a small thing.
Oh, they probably had to remove the grass and sell it to be able to hire all the security they apparently need.
At this rate, probably.
Freaking ridiculous.
That's another
$3,000 for a single blade of grass.
And you get entered into a lottery to get paid to be able to buy it.
Right.
Before we go, we have a question.
I was going to say, this is a good one to end on.
Okay. So you want to put it up there?
Go ahead. Read it out.
Scarves and Spikes, how do y'all, from before the game, how do y'all think the league will change after the World Cup, if at all? I'll begin with this one. I think the league started with a World Cup in 94. That's what was initially the spark for MLS to start. And it was a massive influence because a lot of players that competed in that World Cup ended up coming over to MLS and becoming the league's first stars. I think now that the league has so much visibility and is already attracting stars of its own, even before the World Cup, and it's actually attracting players to come to play because of the World Cup, because this has become such a competitive environment where you can play against Son, you can play against Messi, you can play against such of these big names.
Yeah.
And that can get you visibility for being called up to your national team. And so I think that how the league will change, well, we already have one example. The calendar is going to shift after this season. In 2027, it shifts to this fall to spring model. But also, I think you're going to start to see the league probably have more of these big name stars and more of uh, kind of just the quality continue to go up, and maybe some of these roster rules, maybe they start to relax. You always hope, because for this league to grow, you need to take the ceiling off. You need to take the roof off. And the roof right now is how constrained these teams are with how they can spend their money and build their rosters. Because while parity worked before, and this salary cap worked before to accomplish what you were doing, it's holding the league back, and it's holding these teams back. And you have so much untapped potential that it is a waste for you to not just let these teams go and do what they can do.
The roster rules are a big example of the things that are, like you said, holding this league back from being what it truly can be. We shouldn't have to sit here like every week and wonder what this weird roster rule is that we've never heard of before, keeping a player from signing. We shouldn't be constrained by, yes, you have 3 spots to spend as much money as you want on a player, but have a minimal budget hit. I mean, that's okay, but I mean, outside of that, and the U22s are good as well, but outside of that, you need more. You need just more mechanisms, or mechanisms taken away for MLS to be able to compete in the global transfer market. The calendar change is probably a precipitator of that. Eventual change to the roster rules, a wholesale change to the roster rules, relaxed salary cap, things of that particular nature. But I feel like in some regards, it's sort of crawl, walk, run from a roster standpoint. The pieces are in place, but you just have to see if they can capitalize, if MLS can capitalize. And then from a marketing standpoint, what do you do with MLS and Apple TV when the contract ends? How do you expose MLS to a more linear audience? Fox right now, they have matches, they show matches every day, but isn't after that. You can tell the production value, the attention they pay to it is very minimal at best. So I feel like those things are key to help MLS get to where it needs to be, Tyler.
Yeah. And then I see kind of, and I'm going to give my thoughts too, but kind of the add-on to that question from before the game, saying last weekend San Jose had basically 9 college players in their lineup versus Atlanta. Would that change negatively affect college player opportunities? Yes and no, because I think for all that we're saying about the roster restrictions, I don't think the right answer is to completely rip the proverbial roof off and make it an open air roster rule. I think it needs to be elevated. That the roster restrictions need to be minimized, but to continue, because MLS is the domestic league, the main domestic league, and it is their responsibility along with US Soccer's to try to grow the game in this country. And the college pipeline, that is a conversation for another day, because it does have its own set of problems and benefits, to be fair. But I don't think you remove, right? Like I think you still need to make it to where you have a certain set number of whatever, homegrowns, guys coming through college, whatever. You just got to fix the salary cap issue and the DP thing and like stuff like that. So I don't think it truly takes it away. I think maybe it will minimize some collegiate activity, but I don't think it just negates it and gets rid of it entirely. So then jumping back to the first part of the question, I think you also have to, so we talk about the schedule. You also have to add in that around that time, you're going to be looking at a new MLS commissioner, most likely. And that can change a lot. That's going to be a big factor with how MLS continues into the next 30 years. So we don't know who that's going to be. I don't think we even have rumors or an inkling of who it's going to be. We just know that the conversations have been started. But I think one topic that's going to be significant, because all the owners, the ownership of every team, is going to come together and has come together. And these chats have been happening. It's going to be about loosening that salary cap and loosening the roster restrictions and making them a little more easy to understand, and transfers easy. in addition to that, with the calendar change, you have your calendar in line with the rest of the world in terms of transfers. And that has been objectively one of the biggest issues with player signings over the decades, really. But for teams that really want to go out and spend money, yes, they can get the guy a lot of times, but it is more difficult. And there have been plenty of missed opportunities for teams that are trying to get a guy or a group of guys, and the windows just make it difficult. But now you're swapping that. You're going to where you're in line with the rest of the world for the most part. So I think you're removing a massive barrier right there. And I think because of that, the talent that's already here, the Messis, the Sons, possibly the Antoine Griezmanns, Timo Werners, who else? Mueller's, like these guys have made it here before the World Cup. World Cup is going to be here. You're going to have a lot of talent playing for time in the World Cup in this league. And then once it's over, the eyes are still going to be here. And then the calendar is going to shift. And I think you're going to still have more so a lot of the top talent saying, all right, well, that actually seems like it could be pretty cool. I had my doubts before, but I've seen the way that the fans responded in the country. I've seen the way that, some of the best players in the world are already playing there and enjoying it. I'm going to go be a part of that too. So
I feel like that's a topic we could talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
for years and years.
For sure.
Maybe we only have a Patreon episode.
Yeah, why not?
Actually, that actually would be a good one.
Yeah.
So, and if you're not in our Patreon, patreon.com/scarves and spikes, we'll be doing a mailbag this week. So throw that in the question channel, and we can possibly get at least to some of that too.
Yeah. Great show, guys.
Indeedy. Quite fun. Wednesday, be back for the Atlanta United show, our main flagship show. We will we'll be chatting Atlanta's home opener, getting everybody ready for the first time we see the Five Stripes in the bins, and praying it all works out. And it's the opposite of what happened in match day 2. So y'all come join us 7:00 on Wednesday, 7:00 Eastern on Wednesday. Jump in the chat, jump in the conversation. We'll be having a good time.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about a new signing.
Yes, we will.
Tyler, where are you on social media?
ATL Pilgrim for me.
Henry, where are you on social media?
At HA Higita on Twitter and Blue Sky, and then at HA_Higita on Instagram.
SH Writes on Instagram. No, that's wrong. SH Writes. Take 2. SH Writes on X and Blue Sky. CITH.soccer, Instagram, and Threads. Facebook.com/ScarsAndySpikes. Scars, the letter N Spikes on next. ScarsAndySpikes.com on Blue Sky. ScarsAndySpikes on Instagram and Threads.
Follow us. Subscribe. I'm going to filibuster till the music happens.
Smash the like button. Smash the subscribe button.
Yeah.
You got hit by it. It was you.
Did I get hit by it? Okay.
Yeah.
You were muted.
I don't know when it does it. I don't know the timing of it. Like I thought it was when the screen with the credits popped up, but fine, whatever. We're figuring it out.
We'll get there. Yeah. What were you going on about though? I do want to know.
No, I was just saying. What was I saying?
Was it your Gen Z
just
talk?
like and follow and comment if you like our content. Let us know if you have any other questions. Let us know what topics you want us to talk about. Join our Discord. Go check out our stats page that Tyler put together.
Yes.
Check out the expected rage meter. It's my favorite stat.
It's moving up.
Yeah.
I don't know if you went back and looked at the expected rage meter from 2025, but I did some things to adjust more properly for certain variables, and it is now showing where it should be for 2025. But I think we made it into the 60s out of 100 for 2026 already. So need to fix that this weekend, Atlanta.
Does it go down with the new signing being announced, or is it just like games?
I don't actually know that transfer rumors and news do play a part, but the stats stuff won't necessarily update based on news. It just updates based on stats. So
Okay.
until he plays a game,
Gotcha.
probably not gonna.
All right.
Maybe I can work that in. That'd be fun.
We'll see, man. Go check it out, y'all.